नमस्ते मुखिया जी। ये मेरा भांजा है। ये IMD नाम की बहुत बड़ी कंपनी में जॉब करता है।
नमस्ते मुखिया जी।
रहने
बताओ तुम्हारा IMD में क्या होता है?
तो हम लोग IMD में बारिश किधर कितना होने वाला है, कितने जोर से होने वाला है या फिर कम होने वाला है, ये हम लोग कंप्यूटर से डेटा निकाल के फोरकास्ट करते हैं।
ये तो हमारा सहदेव भी कर लेता है। अरे ओ सहदेव,
आसमान साफ है, 2 दिन तक बारिश नहीं होगी।
वाह वाह वाह, देखा।
मैं भी यही करता हूँ।
Hey folks, CA Rachana Ranade here and I welcome you all to a very important and interesting session which is about a fundamentally strong stock, and this is a monsoon special video. Animation team लगेच पाऊस पडायची गरज नाही, control. Okay. So first you must understand that what is the connection between monsoon and the entire market, or is there a connection between monsoon and any specific sector or any specific stock, and exactly that's what we are going to discuss in today's video, right? So you must be aware that monsoon rains are very critical to one sector, and that is agricultural sector. Now why is this sector important? Agricultural sector contributes to 18.8% of total India's GDP. It is during this season, during the June season, that plantation of key kharif crops happens, something like rice, sugarcane, pulses, oilseeds and so on, right? Now there are so many Indian companies which derive their revenue either directly or indirectly from the agricultural sector. So please understand that if the monsoon rains are normal, then would it be a good sign for the overall economy? Answer is yes. If there is going to be excess rain, still that's going to be a problem. If there is going to be a shortfall of rain, still that's going to be a problem. But then how to measure rainfall, whether it's normal, above or below average, that's what exactly we are going to discuss in the next part of the video. Well, I hope you have checked out my recently launched course, Technical Analysis, on my website rachanaranade.com. In this course, I've covered some amazing additional concepts like the price action, Dow theory, I've talked about island reversal patterns. I've also talked about something which is very important like planning trades and trailing your stop losses. I've also talked about the Elliott wave theory, emotional quotient, and super important, how to do a proper position sizing. Don't forget to also check out the coupon code which expires tomorrow. Now the question is that who actually provides the reports for the monsoon forecasts? They are not provided by Sahadev. They are provided by IMD, which is the Indian Meteorological Department, and by SkyMet Weather Services. By the way, IMD is a government organization and SkyMet is a private organization. Now, when they release their monsoon forecast, the question is when do they release it? They are released in the month of April, and the second one is released in the month of June. Whenever they release their forecast, they compare the current rainfall forecast with something known as LPA. Now, what is LPA? LPA is known as a long period average. Now, let's try and simplify this word, right? Long period average. Average of what? Average rainfall. How much average rainfall? It should be a long period average. Now, what is this long period? It has been defined like somewhere between 30 to 50 years. In simple words, these companies, IMD or SkyMet, will tell that whether this year rainfall will be above the average, above the LPA, or will it be below the LPA. Can you correlate this with technical analysis when we try and compare the LTP, the current market price of the stock, whether it is above the 200 DEMA or below the 200 DEMA? Very same logic you can apply here, right? Now that you understand what is LPA, it's a long period average of rainfall. Now you must understand how is the rainfall classified. Just have a look at this figure. If current year's rainfall is forecasted to be less than 90% of LPA, it is classified as drought. If it is between 90 to 96% of LPA, it is classified as below normal rainfall. 96 to 104% of LPA, normal. 104 to 110, it will be considered as above normal. And if I am talking about more than 110% of LPA, so then it will be classified as an excess rainfall. Now that you have understood the classification, we have to go ahead and understand, is there any correlation between excess, low or average rainfall with Nifty? That's what we are going to check in the next section of the video. Now let's check the last 5-year data of rainfall as per IMD. The first column talks about the period of rainfall. Typically, monsoon will be June to September. It's the last 5-year data, so you can see from 2017 to 2021 data is what we are discussing. Now, what will be next step? First, we'll have to calculate what is the LPA. Of course, we need not calculate that. That is provided by IMD. So here you can see that 88 is the LPA which has been declared, right? It's a long period average from 1961 to 2010. Now we plot the actual rainfall figures, and then with the basis of actual versus LPA, we will see that percentage of LPA is how much. So now with the percentage of LPA, you will be able to understand whether the monsoon was normal or above normal or below normal. So you'll see in the immediate previous year, that is 2021, it was normal. 2 years before that, it was above normal, and 2017 and 18, it was below normal, right? Now that we have understood this, let's try and understand how Nifty has behaved when monsoon was normal, above normal or below normal. So for that, have a look at this chart. So here you can see that in 2017 and 2018, when the monsoon was below normal, then you can see that the 6 months average return from April to September, the returns were just 1.13% and 1.4% respectively. Of course, I've also given a split of 3 months and 3 months, that is April to June and July to September. When it was above normal in 2019 and 2020, the 6 months average return was minus 0.17, and 2020 it was 5.69%. Now you might be like, "Arey, above normal is giving very good returns." Wait, it's 2020, so this was the COVID year, V-shaped recovery, this, that, okay? So don't, ideally you should be excluding such years from analysis, right? And if you see 2021, where the monsoon was normal, you can see that a return of 3.13% has been recorded in Nifty. But please be aware of the fact that all these return figures can be like indicative, because only monsoon is not going to impact the stock market, right? The monsoon impact is just going to be one of the factors amongst the various factors which impacts the stock market. पावसा पाण्याच्या खूप गप्पा झाल्या. आता जरा लाईक्सकडे पण लक्ष द्या. लाईक्सचा पाऊस पाडा आणि मग आपण सेक्टर्सकडे वळूया. ओ माय गॉड, I talked so much in Marathi. Just for your understanding, I said that we have discussed so much about the rainfall. Now let there be a rainfall of likes. And with this, let's move on with the sectors which can get impacted with the monsoon, right? The very first sector that I can think of is agrochemical. I'm also going to simultaneously talk about stocks in that sector. This is not a recommendation. I'm just telling you the names of the stock in that sector. So in agrochemical, it could be something like UPL, it could be PI Industries, it could be Bayer CropScience, right? Second one, which is directly related to monsoon, can be fertilizers and seeds segment. And in that, we can think about stocks like Coromandel, Chambal, it could be GNFC, it could be Kaveri Seeds, and so many more, right? The third one can be tractor segment, and in tractor, of course, I'm sure you will be able to guess this, it could be M&M and Escorts. Few other sectors can be something like banks and NBFCs as well. Now you might be like, how banks are linked with monsoon? See, if the rainfall is going to be good, then there'll be a lot of farmers who will be taking more and more loans. So we call this as a credit expansion. And unfortunately, if the rains are like very below average, so something like a drought situation or excess rainfall situation, then the crop may get damaged, and because of which there might be a problem with rising NPAs, right? So I hope you have understood the impact of agriculture, impact of monsoon on even sectors like banking and NBFC. One more sector that I can think of is logistics. See, if again there is a good rainfall, there will be a good produce, and if there is a good produce, there will be a lot of requirement for logistics, not only for supply within the country, but also supply outside the country. Now with this basic discussion and understanding of various sectors, now let's boil down to one fundamentally strong stock which can get impacted positively with a positive monsoon. But when I'm talking about a fundamentally strong stock, I've used various parameters like top line growth, bottom line growth. I've thought about the OPM percentage, something like a debt to equity ratio, promoters holding, and so on. And the name of the stock is Bayer CropScience. So those who are here only for the stock name, bye-bye. And if you want to know more about Bayer CropScience, just keep on watching the video till then. Well, the name of the company Bayer CropScience itself tells us that how it is directly related with agriculture and thereby related to monsoons. Bayer CropScience is one of the leading players in the areas of crop protection, pest control, seeds and biotechnology. It mainly develops and markets what? fungicides, insecticides and seed treatment products. It was incorporated in the year 1958 and it's a subsidiary of Bayer Germany, which is a diversified international chemical and healthcare company. I'll tell you also one interesting fact about the chairman of this company. The name of the chairman is Mr. Pankaj Patel and he is also the chairman to the 5th largest pharma company, and I am not going to tell you the name of that company. You have to tell me the name in the comment section below. So now let's get to the fundamental analysis of Bayer CropScience, and I'm on screener.in. So let me just scroll down. Here I've gone into the P ratio tab. So basically this chart helps me to try and figure out the relationship between EPS and P ratio. What can you see that over the last few quarters, you can see that the EPS is not that bad, it's steady. In fact, in the last quarter it has increased quite a bit, but the PE on the other hand has been declining throughout. So if that be the scenario, it means that the price has not yet been absorbing the effect of EPS in the current price. In simple words, I can say that based on EPS, it currently is undervalued right now. Okay, so moving on to the next one, here you can see, let's focus on the quarterly results. Here if you observe very carefully, you can see that every single year, be it 2019 or 20 or 21 or 22, you can see that June or September have always shown better figures as compared to December and March. If you try and ask yourself why, then reason is very simple. It's a cyclical nature of business, right? It's a monsoon. It will be impacted by the monsoon. So if you see here June and September, the figures were 950 and 1345 crores, and again you can see there's a drop in December. Same is the scenario for all the years ahead. So now if I were to compare only June, then you can see that the sales from 2019 to 2021, June sales figures have grown by almost 49.05%. If I'm talking about the operating profit, then you can see that overall the growth has been almost 59.40%. And if I'm talking about PAT, then it has grown by almost 79.77%. Well, I'm only comparing June figures in this case. But overall, if you see that sales have been in an increasing trend, of course, I'm comparing the quarterly numbers again. Same is the scenario with profitability as well. If I'm talking about OPM percentage, you can see that yes, there has been a slight pressure in the December 21 quarter, but seems to be quite a bit on track again in March 22. If I'm comparing now year-wise data, then you can see that overall it has been in the increasing trend, and March 22, it has been at an all-time high, the sales figure, right? Same is the case with profit after tax, that is a net profit. It is at an all-time high right now. But if I'm talking about OPM percentage, currently it seems to be under a little bit of pressure. If you're talking about the compounded sales growth, if 10 years 8%, profit growth 10 years 13%, 10 years stock price CAGR 21%, ROE 10 years 19%. So if you're looking from a longer term perspective, it has given a decent enough return, right? Even if you go on to the balance sheet, you can see that the reserves are building up very well and borrowings are very much negligible. So the point that I'm trying to make is the debt to equity ratio is very healthy for this company. Even if you're talking about the cash flows are positive. Operating cash flow, one negative point I could see that somewhere if you're comparing March 22 versus March 21, you can see that there's a drop, but please be aware that operating profit is still positive. Operating cash flow is still positive. Moving ahead, if you come to the shareholding pattern right now, you can see that shareholding pattern, promoter holding is very solid. It's almost 71% throughout, remaining same for last few quarters. FII, DII are also neither increasing it quite a bit nor they are decreasing it by a lot of percentage. So all in all, if you check out these basic parameters, fundamentally this surely seems to be a pretty strong company. I hope everyone remembers our basic disclaimer. This is not an advice. This is just the analysis that I'm putting in front of you. With this, let's move on with the technical analysis in the next section of the video. Moving on with technical analysis, I am on the weekly pattern for Bayer CropScience. Here, you can very clearly see, I am zooming in a little bit, you can see that a double bottom formation has very clearly happened, and this is a sign of bullishness, number one. Number two, if you can see, there are three white soldiers marching ahead, moving towards higher and higher levels. So this is also a sign of bullishness, sign of going in the upward journey. Number 3, moving on to pivot points, you can see that pivot is at 5202 and the latest candle close is at 5359. So it has closed at a point which is above the pivot point. Plus, if you see, our volumes are also strong, not only in this candle but also in the previous candle as well. So that is a typical scenario of a good price action, right? Price is also increasing but also with good volumes. Now, if I move on with the next discussion, ideally if it is closing above pivot with good volumes, then the first target is generally at R1, which comes to 5,820. But this is as per what? This is as per pivot. Now, moving ahead with EMA, that is exponential moving average, you can see that the 200 EMA is at around 4,709. So, is the stock price well above the 200 EMA? Answer is obviously yes. Now, let's move ahead with RSI and MACD, but for that, let's take a comparatively shorter view. So, we'll go on a daily time frame and I will just close EMA and pivot so that I can put on MACD and RSI. So, if you see for MACD has already crossed over, but a little bit sign of caution that you can see that the histograms are showing a little bit light green color. It shows that in the shorter term, there may be some sign of weakness. Also, if you check out the RSI on a daily basis, RSI has also gone to the level of 70.80 to be precise. So, again, this is somewhere as a sign of caution. So, all in all, if I were to summarize the entire TA for you, on a weekly basis, it looks very much bullish. Weekly is basically from a medium term perspective, but in a short term perspective, that is on a daily time frame, we have to be a bit cautious on the stock. Well, I hope you enjoyed this monsoon special fundamental stock video. If you have, don't forget to share it with your friends. And if you want to learn more about Nifty 50, how it has performed in the last quarter, you can check here. And if you want to know more about technical analysis, you can click here. Till then, take care, Jai Hind and bye-bye.